Can you watch Love Island in a group as just a group of men, like no women present?
Definitely.
That's not crazy.
No,
I did it, so I'm
I was about to say, like, it was done.
I'm just asking, like, that's okay though.
I think that's way better than watching Love Island alone as a man.
Wait, what? You can't watch Love Island alone?
Watching Love Island at all, I can say after watching 3 episodes is crazy.
Yeah, it's never been my cup of tea.
Nah, that's like
that show's funny.
I used to be on the it's not my cup of tea, but that's bad television.
Yeah,
like but it's not like it even just like brain rot shit. It's like, what am I doing with this? Like I became very self-aware of what I was doing about an hour in. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I don't feel good about this being what I'm doing on my Saturday night.
The only time I've ever been able to justify any kind of show like that is when I still live with y'all and we did all watch it together. Y'all would watch it and I'd pop in because jokes were flying.
It's funny.
You know?
There's definitely always jokes, but these are just some of the stupidest individuals I've ever seen in my life. And the situations that they put themselves in and get put in just become more and more absurd. And I'm just like, why? This is not real. Who are these people?
What's the craziest thing you saw when you were watching it last night?
I think it was really not even the activities or the crazy drama. It was when they would sit and actually try to get to know each other. And they would just be like, oh my God, like we're so similar. Like I feel like a real connection right here. Like I just feel like we're so compatible. We're basically the same person. And then you zoom out and you're like, but you've only known this person for 24 hours. This is your second long form conversation without other people around. How are y'all so locked in already? Maybe I move too slow though.
You know what I really love about that show? When the characters realize they've messed up.
Yes.
It's like the funniest thing. Because like usually like I do feel like there's a lot of moments of like non-self-awareness. But the ones where they become conscious of like, oh, I might have made a mistake here. I might have messed up. I might have lost my chance. That is so funny. Like the very beginning scene, I don't know any names, but that dude Ace basically losing the first girl to the second girl, like when they had to make out with each other. That's
no. The worst was obviously when a girl has a kid. You locked in. You like, I'm cutting off all these other women. I'm not talking to no one else. And a homegirl basically goes up to this dude and is like, you know, I'm a mom. And he's just like, oh. Like you see this nigga's eyebrows raised and you see the thoughts start racing too. Yeah. It's like, so I just dubbed all these other women on this island for you. And now I walked into Love Island looking for maybe a girlfriend. Now I have a child. I didn't really sign up for all this.
But in all fairness, and this is hypothetical obviously, but if we were on a show like that, could they make us look the same way?
I was going to say, how much do you think the editor is like playing these people?
I think the editor is the best part of the entire piece of content. Yeah. The editor makes the stakes funny. It zooms in at the right time. Like the editor literally is the MVP of all of this.
Have you guys seen that TikTok trend where it's basically a guy who like goes off the grid and like does like 30 days without any like cell service, and he's sending videos. He takes a TikTok every day and he sends it to the editor, and then the editor edits it. It went like super viral because the editor was just like cooking him the entire time, just like making fun of like how stupid this guy was, like adding the craziest captions. And it went super viral. Dude came back and had like 500,000 followers. He didn't know why until he watched all the videos. But I'm like, yo, if we could get an editor that low-key hated us, well, it might be the best for the content.
I think that if we got an editor that hated us, we might get canceled in a week.
Hey, but you know what you have to be to get canceled? Popping.
Exactly. Relevant.
Getting canceled before blowing up would be nasty work, but hopefully we'll avoid that. What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Industry Plans Podcast.
What is good? It's episode 143.
Yes, sir. Back at y'all after a great week, man. I'm Miles. To my left, we got Osei. To my right, we got Spencer.
Yup.
How we feeling, y'all? I'm excited to be on the mics again.
Feeling good.
Yeah, man. I woke up ready to pod today, honestly. I feel like the world has been in shambles. I think we might go into World War III. And I took a step back and I'm like, okay, if none of this matters, you know, let's just try shit. Let's just say things.
Exactly.
I think I'm ready to lie more, but also tell the truth a little bit more than I should.
Yeah, that's a good mentality to have.
You know?
It kind of took me a little differently. I was in here like editing content like at like 1 a.m. one night. And I'm like, damn, we could get nukes tomorrow. You know, the order probably goes Tel Aviv, New York, LA. So I'm like, if we get nukes tomorrow, like, Like, should I go hang out with my queen? Should I call my mom? Like, why am I editing content right now?
Nah, in all seriousness, of course, we pray that everyone that's actually affected by what's going on is safe. You know, the world is very fucked up. There's a lot of bad things happening, but we're here to talk about music and celebrities and bullshit.
Yeah, if you want to
it.
hear our real talks about, you know, the nuclear conflict and everything that's going on and how we're gonna go about dodging the draft, make sure to fuck with the Patreon. That's going to be exclusive. After we film the main show, we're going to film that, and we're going to give you our thoughts there as well as a recap of our weekend. So link is in the bio. Come support us. $5 a month, and you get all the exclusive content we film.
Paying $5 to hear about our weekend is pretty funny. what were we on these last couple of days? You know what I mean? But keeping it with the news and what's happening, I guess the biggest thing that happened in our sphere was Pusha T kind of dismantling Travis Scott. Like, yeah. I've never seen, so I guess for context, like, we're all pretty decently big Travis Scott fans. I think that Travis Scott is seen in our group of friends and just like our generation as one of the leaders in this music shit. Nigga is an elite producer, lead musician, He's put out great albums. He's been someone who I feel like has kind of not been in a lot of controversy. And Pusha T out of nowhere drops his song, the second one off the Clipse album that's coming up. So Be It is what it's called.
Yeah.
And he basically goes through the experience with this meltdown verse and Drake and Travis coming through to the LV studio with him and Pharrell and playing everything, but not playing that Drake meltdown verse where he's dissing Pharrell.
Yeah.
And everything is really funny because there's obviously footage of this happening from Utopia when Travis was hyping this up. And you see him in the studio and niggas are just like, oh, so niggas was fake vibing to the music.
Right.
Because Pusha was like, Travis was doing his monkey dance, doing all this shit. He wasn't really fucking with the shit even when he didn't know there was a diss on it.
Bro, dancing like a monkey is crazy.
I mean, saying that, see, he can't say that though.
Oh, my bad.
I see. Yeah, that could be. I mean, that was a crazy phrase in general. When he said it, I was like, wow, that feels charged.
I think calling someone a monkey is one of the funniest and most disrespectful insults you could throw at somebody.
Which is crazy because they're some of the smartest animals.
I mean,
no bat.
I hate this nigga.
I mean, it's like, would you rather be called a fucking... let me not.
You know?
Let me not.
But seeing Travis kind of in this light is weird because I know off jump there's not going to be a response.
Mm-hmm. Bro, it's really funny to like have one of the best rappers alive diss somebody that like is not going to reply and don't really rap.
Like, what does he say?
Is it kind of like picking a fight, like punching like a dude with no arms in the face?
Damn. I think it's like...
You know what I mean? Like,
I look at Pusha T in a different light after this because now I think I understand his motives a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I think this is therapy for him. I think Pusha T is not, and I don't want to phrase this as like a bad thing, but the nigga has a lot of anger, I think, genuinely, be it from whatever's happened in his actual life and what's happened in his professional life. Because I think that when he talks about these things, he says, you know the sentiment, like you can't expect everyone to act like you. You can't expect everyone to be like you. He's very much so presenting this like I'm super solid, whatever thing. And like these other people are just fake and I can't operate like that. I don't know the nigga, so I can't like either say that's true or say that's fake. But I do think that if that's what he's going with and how he's feeling, I could see a lot of the way that people move, especially in rap, and a lot of the direction where rap is going, be it this buddy shit, even if you know it's kind of fake and all that stuff kind of just rubbing him the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And as an OG, he probably feels like his responsibility to say something about it.
Yeah, and I feel like he just always inherits every beef for Pharrell.
Of course,
like not that he doesn't get himself in enough shit. But like, I feel like he's always been inheriting beefs for P. I feel like there was a point when he was inheriting beefs for Kanye. You know, he's like somebody that kind of just like is such a good rapper that he'll take that on.
But it's also not inheriting beefs. It's also just looking out for your mans.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I think we can talk about the criticism a little bit. I think the criticism I see online is like, bro, you're dissing somebody that doesn't rap, right? But I feel like Pusha T is super consistent with his stance. And every single time he does something like this, it is like consistent with how he talks about the rap game, how he talks about, you know, loyalty and shit like that. Like you said, especially when he was good music, he was riding for Kanye, even with the Drake shit. That's why when they like patched things up, he was weird about it. It's like, bro, I did all this for you because you're against this dude and everything he stands for, and you turn back against me. That's kind of weird. You know
I think Travis isn't a beef guy. Travis seems like he's very kiki. I like to just move around and make music, whatever. These are all my friends. And I think that this is the first time that that's kind of bit him.
Yeah, but also I think Travis replied in the absolute perfect way possible, and it's something that like Drake should take note of, right? Like all this is going down. There's all these beefs. What does Travis do? Announces a capsule with fanatics, Cactus Jack X MLB X NBA X NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everyone was posting the clothes, and they're like, "Yo, this is gonna be so fire!" Like, Travis knows what he does and knows why people like him, and nobody wants to hear Travis Scott reply.
I think he should reply, but I think he should just drop a song on their release date. But I don't think it should be a diss track.
No, that would be dope. That would be dope. Like a banger on their album.
But that's
day.
not dope. But that's not dope because I don't think that that's the right way to go about these things, because I think that if you want to go into the deeper layers of this, Travis clearly has respect for both Pusha T, Malice, and Pharrell.
How do you know he has respect for Pusha T and Malice?
Because that's why he came to the studio and was excited to play the shit for them.
You don't think it was because of Pharrell?
Because he could have just done that.
Him and Pharrell worked.
But if he saw that they were there, he didn't have to play it in front of him.
But I think it's timing. How many options do you have to pull up to LV and play music for Pharrell?
I don't think you have to play. If you want to play your album for Pharrell, yes, ideally you want to play it in the LV store, whatever, that's fine. But if you are in the company of people that you don't want to hear your music, or you don't respect the opinion of, then you're going to hold off and not play it and play it in a different setting, because I think that Travis Scott is one of the few people that has the cachet to be able to link Pharrell and find the time to link Pharrell. I think
maybe that speaks to not him having this respect for Pusha T and Malice, but more so not having a disdain for them.
I think if you're the biggest artist in the world,
they're legends. So obviously if you don't have a problem with them, you don't have to like respect the fuck out of them to be like, okay with them hearing your music.
But if you're debatably one of the biggest artists in the world, forget just rap, you're not playing your unreleased album that no one else has heard for people that you don't respect the musical opinions of. To me,
okay,
I don't think that. And like, but I say all this to say, right? Mm-hmm. I think that Travis Scott made a mistake. And I think that it is a mistake that he can come back from and still be looked at good in not only the fans' eyes, but all of these artists' eyes, because he shouldn't have not played the Drake song. If you're going to do it, either play the full thing, or if you feel weird about playing the Drake verse, you should maybe reevaluate if that's something you want on the song.
Well, let's rewind, because it wasn't the where he messed up wasn't not playing the verse, but where he messed up, if he really wanted these relationships to stand, he's obviously worked with Pharrell before, was dropping Meltdown, which disses Pharrell on his album. It wasn't like foregoing playing it or anything. It was like he has Pharrell disses on his album.
Yes.
So to me, he was always involved in this, and he's Team Drake. Like Sicko Mode, they have hits, Meltdown. Like, I'm not mad at Travis. Like, you don't have to diss people, but like, he's gonna work with Drake again.
But he's not really Team Drake.
Why do you say that?
Because Metro is his people. Future is his people. Pharrell is his people, clearly. Like, I think that he has relationships with people who are anti-Drake and are on the other side of the beef. He's done a song with Kendrick, no?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like these are all people that Travis Scott is probably in a good relationship with, and I don't think he was thinking. I think he was like, I'm gonna put this verse on my album and like not really think anything of it.
Nah, if that's the case, he's an idiot. You're calling him an idiot.
I don't think he's an idiot.
There's no way you hear the Pharrell diss and put it on your album and think that nothing's gonna happen.
But that's where you go. You don't have to call him an idiot.
That's what you just did.
But I think he made a mistake. I think everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
That is not like something that he can't remedy, though, is what I'm saying. So I think that he needs to go on an interview rather than make this music and speak about how, damn, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Oh, you want him to J. Cole?
I want him to apologize.
You want him to J. Cole?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy. For everything you said about J. Cole, that's crazy.
Because J. Cole has always said, I'm the best rapper. None of you niggas want to rap with me. And if it comes to that, I'll kill you. Travis Scott has never said that. J. Cole had the opportunity to do that and ran away from it. Travis Scott never asked for that smoke.
I think if
you just made a dumb, short-sighted decision.
I think if you say you made a dumb, short-sighted decision on Utopia, like one of the most highly anticipated albums of this decade, and something that like was so hyped up, like you lose so much like creative cachet. Stand on it. It's not that big of a deal. You don't have to diss. I like what Osei said. Drop a banger when the Clipse album drops. Steal the spotlight.
But I don't think that's what he wants. Do you think he wants beef with Pharrell and Clipse?
No, and that's why I don't think he should.
So
diss
he's
them.
not going to drop the song. So that doesn't make sense to do.
Why?
Because he doesn't want beef with them.
I think low key it's super fly when somebody disses you, especially someone of Pusha T stature, and you just keep it pushing.
But I don't think I don't think it's productive to push a Travis Scott beef because how we opened all of this up by saying Travis isn't going to rap back with you.
Yeah.
Travis doesn't want that smoke. That's not who Travis is. That's not even the music he makes or the energy of the music he puts out.
Hey, people, release music on the same day all the time. That's not the most malicious thing in the world. Travis Scott can put a song out whenever he wants.
But you know that
he has no obligation to dodge that date.
He has no obligation to, but that's his man's.
It's not his man's.
Pharrell is his man.
No, it's not. Bro, how is Pharrell your man and you're putting out Meltdown? How is Pharrell your man?
Because he was immature and made a mistake. I don't even know. That could not be his man's. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because why the fuck else would you go play the album for him?
Can we outline exactly what happened? Because I think based on the GQ article, I might have a different idea of like what happened.
So Travis Scott was going around with the Utopia box and the chain and everything, promoting the album. And I think while he was doing this, he was playing it for different people to get their take on it, see if they want to work on it, whatever, right? He had the album, went to the LV studio to play it for Pharrell. Pusha T and Malice were also there because that's where they were recording their album with Pharrell.
And I think like here's where I think I might be a little bit confused because he was surprised that they were there, right? He wasn't expecting them to be there. Because I think the way that Push was saying in the article, he was like, oh, everyone's here, ha ha ha. And then he started playing the album and started vibing or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think the Meltdown verse was done by then.
I don't think so either.
And so I think that's where, even though I wouldn't have moved this way, I don't think it makes sense to move this way. I don't think he purposefully didn't play Drake's verse for them. I think the part where you mess up is put it like, because we know Drake delivers verses last minute.
Yeah.
That's a thing, right? So I think where you mess up is you hear the Drake verse, you know you've already played it for Push, Pharrell, all these people, and you're like, I'm going to put this out and not even let anyone know.
Yes.
I think that's where you mess up. Because even if you're going to put it out regardless, you have to let them know.
There we go. And I love what you said because now I give him even more benefit of the doubt. Because that's a fair mistake to make. Honestly, you played the album for Pharrell, not even knowing that you're going to get this Drake verse that's dissing Pharrell. You have no idea that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're all good in that room. You did everything you're supposed to do right with Pharrell, Clipse, Pusha T. Even if they don't like the album, whatever, you didn't do anything wrong. Now you get the Drake verse for, like you said, one of the most highest anticipated albums of the last couple years. I don't think it's crazy to think that him feeling that pressure, understanding that is like, fuck, it's last minute. Drake just delivered this verse last minute. I want to put him on the album.
Yeah, I agree. Travis Scott made a choice. And there was a clear moment when Travis Scott said, okay, do I put this verse dissing Pharrell, who I've worked with recently on the Down for Atlanta song and was recently hanging out with?
Yeah.
Do I let the biggest artist in the world diss my contemporary and somebody I aspire to be close with on my massive album?
Yes.
And he chose yes. And so there's beef.
And he made an immature mistake. And
I
don't think he made that choice.
You can't chalk it down to a mistake, bro. He made a choice. He made a choice to stand on this side, so stand on it.
So it has to be up. So
yes.
Is it fixable? Is it fixable?
What, like Pharrell and Travis's relationship?
Yes.
No.
Okay. I don't operate like that, nor do I think we should operate like that over music where no one's been hurt.
Can I adjust my answer?
Yeah.
It is fixable, but Pharrell has to be the one to fix it. Pharrell has to forgive Travis Scott.
Yes. And to forgive, you have to make an apology. You don't drop on the same day as the album. That's why I'm like, why in music do we want to promote this beef?
So, but this is my disconnect too, and it stems outside of like just this situation, because I think this is something that, again, we talk about consistency. Travis Scott has done things like this before.
Yes.
The one thing that I vividly remember was the Like That thing at Rolling Loud, where he knew that Future had this Kendrick verse. Future Metro had this Kendrick verse. And he was like, yo, play the da-na-na, knowing what that was going to start with somebody else who he had worked with.
And that's why I'm like, if he did it to the nigga that you saying he fucking with and doing all this shit for, I'm like, maybe Travis just doesn't be thinking like that. Travis doesn't seem to be thinking that deep with beef and shit like that.
Which is bad.
It's not bad.
It is.
It's not bad because that's who Travis is. I think Travis might be cut more from the Wayne cloth than we realize. The niggas who are just kind of like doing this whole aloof, I'm in my own world. I think not to say it's right or good.
Ignorance is not an excuse.
But I think you also have to just start accepting people for who they are. and realizing that maybe Travis Scott isn't someone who wants to promote beef and push all this beef shit. He just wants to hear music and put out music. And
I'm not saying he wants to promote beef or he should promote beef, but he knows that he's in hip hop, which is like naturally competitive. And you know that your moves have consequences. If you think you're allowed to just do whatever without any consequences, that's ignorant and immature. And if you're gonna move like that, you have to be ready for the consequences.
So did I not say he made an immature mistake?
Yes, but I'm just saying. But I'm just saying you
Travis
can't.
Scott might be immature.
But you can't chalk up your immature mistake to ignorance and expect everything to get pieced up. You have to be ready to accept consequences when you move immaturely.
I agree. And he just got this whole article put out. Now I think the best thing for him to do, looking at his immaturity, seeing all the shit that came from his decision, would be, yo, mute up, keep pushing your shit, handle your business. Next time you get in front of a camera, next time you get an interview, if someone asks you about this, next time you're given the opportunity to speak about this, rather than make it some just like either super PC, like aloof, I'm not going to talk about it answer, or enhance the beef, say, yo, I fucked up. I made a mistake. I was not thinking. I was just focused on making the music or whatever and pushing this shit out and focused in my own world, not thinking about how my actions would affect other people.
To me, I think the relationship he has with Drake is stronger than anything else he has. And I think he should lean on that. And I think they should continue to work together. And I think going on a platform and saying, including this Drake verse on my album was a mistake and I fucked up, alienates you from him. And I think their relationship is more important than his relationship with Pharrell, who he's done one song with.
I don't think so, because it's like, yo, fuck the beef. Let's move on.
I like this guy, bro. You're inheriting the beef for Pharrell now.
For sure.
Exactly. And that's the shit, bro.
But I mean, first of all, why so many people dissing Pharrell, bro? What does he really do?
When you're okay, have used the crown.
Who else dissed Pharrell?
Damn. All right.
I'm so serious. I feel like everyone loves Pharrell.
I will say, just
this nigga just saying shit. Yeah. I thought you were gonna be fat guy going forward.
Fat guy?
Remember how you called me out on Thursday when you was just talking?
You know what? I lied. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I apologize.
Immature mistake.
Immature mistake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before we get off this, one thing I do just want to say is I do think we're witnessing one of the better album rollouts I've seen in the last 5-10 years, personally, with what the Clipse is doing. First, there was the Ace Trumpets moment. That was an incredible song, incredible return to form. And it was followed by that really good GQ piece, bunch of original photography, a bunch of new intel about how Push has dealt with the last 5-10 years. Shout out Frazier at GQ. That was one of the best pieces I've read in a long time. And then we get this new song, So Be It, which is a really strong song with the best Pharrell beat I've heard in years. Like, to me, that beat was absolutely insane. You get that little third verse where he's dissing Travis. He immediately goes on the New York Times podcast, which is one of the music podcasts I really like because it's a super deep dive. And I think it kind of keeps that highbrow luxury branding that the Clipse is going for with this whole release. And you really get into the beef with Travis Scott and you have another super viral moment that's all around the music. Everything has started and stemmed from the music and the strategy outside of it.
Kind of.
What do you think? What do you mean?
The Travis shit isn't music.
Yeah, it is. It was the whole thing that started that was a verse.
But the subject matter.
But it all comes back to the verse.
But niggas aren't talking about how he rapped on it. Niggas
I think
are talking
they are
about what he said.
No, I think they are. And I think if you want to,
I guess
if you want to hear where the conversation starts,
how's
you
that
have
not
to.
about music?
Yeah, you have to listen
It's
to the
all
verse.
about what he said about the beef.
In the music.
Yeah.
In the
but
music.
it is beef. It's like using another nigga's name. Like, yes, he rapped good. I fuck with the song.
Yeah.
But he is using another person's name in the middle of his rollout to enhance this. And like, he knows Travis Scott is going to be in the news.
In the music. As long as it's in the music, I'm good with it.
But then he also did a GQ article talking about it.
Honestly, I do like the GQ interview.
Yeah,
it's like you're like, you listen to the song, it's almost like having like closed captions for the song. Like it's like explain.
I just don't want it to come off like I fuck with it and I enjoy it and I think it's smart and I think it's great and I think it's the right thing to do and I think this is one of the best rollouts, especially for a rap album like this that we've seen in a long time because it's getting that type of treatment that a like bigger, less like rapidy release is gonna get.
Yeah.
But what's pushing it is not just great music. It is narratives and stories and beef and all the stuff that is a little bit toxic, but you have to do. You have to do this.
It's great marketing that to me stems from two great songs. I think everything has been coinciding with these two releases. And yes, the conversation is about Travis Scott and the conversation is about Kanye and all that. But I do see it all going back to the music and how fire the two songs are.
The songs are good. I really like the songs. I think that I'm ready for the body of work. I think that the lead time has been great. I feel like they're staying consistent, finding ways to just keep the topics relevant as well, like switching stuff up. I would like to see the next couple of weeks, maybe the focus shifts to what has Malice been on? What has he been doing?
Yeah, it has been really Push heavy.
But I think that's how it's supposed to be because Push is the bigger star.
Yeah.
And I like how they have the Twitter account that's now the Clipse, which is like speaking for both of them, you know, it's Push and Malice. So
yeah,
it's going to be a good album. I'm excited for it. I hope that niggas can eventually piece it up because Pharrell and Travis make good music together. But keeping it with Drake, he has now jumped into the country music scene a little bit. He came out with Morgan Wallen on the second night of his tour somewhere.
In Houston.
In Houston.
Yeah.
I don't know much about their relationship. I think that they had a video together.
Yeah, I mean,
You Broke My Heart. Yeah, the You Broke My Heart video. Morgan Wallen was
did
in
a cameo,
it.
yeah.
Morgan Wallen is obviously one of the biggest country music stars right now. I think country music is having a resurgence. Drake aligns himself with whatever sound is hot. So I think that it makes sense that he's doing this, especially when rap maybe isn't the best place for him right now, especially when Pusha T is mid rollout mode and rapping and acting. He's probably like, let me cool out over here. Kendrick's finishing up the Grand National Tour. He's like, let me just play with the other artists for now. So this is regular Drake shit.
Yeah, he's trying to find an angle. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's done it in hip hop and really like all of our music forever. Like he's always trying to find an angle, trying to heat up, be next to the biggest star.
Did he have to stand next to the guy who says nigga? No, but it is what it is. There are other country musicians. I feel like Jelly Roll likes us a little more than Morgan might.
And there's Shabuzi.
Oh, he wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know, Shabuzi's
wait, why wouldn't he do it?
We don't want to hear you say nigga no more. He don't like us, bro. No, I'm not gonna do that because I like Drake.
Yeah, don't do that.
Drake is Shabuzi realistically is not Shabuzi. Shabuzi is realistically not at the point where he's gonna enhance Drake's star.
Yeah, no,
Drake would be pulling him up. I think that Morgan is someone who maybe he's trying to cross pollinate with a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Morgan. I don't know. I do know how I feel about you. I still don't think I like you, but TBD. Is he racist? Are we standing on that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
1,000%.
That's a wild thing.
Yes.
Yeah. When do we get the song?
I don't know. I think it's been in the tuck for a minute. I think that was what the cameo was about. I think they were gonna drop a song because Drake has done like he's a random folk song like floating around. Not that it's the same thing, but he's kind of dove into that bag before.
And then like maybe he'll give Morgan the N-word pass on the song. And then Morgan will say it in the chorus.
Yo, that would be so viral.
And then we get that Mexican OT verse at the end.
And it's only that word.
He's wildin'. That's the guy who we really have to address right now.
Yeah.
He was in an interview with Angela Yee, and one of her co-hosts asked him, Mr. OT, why do you like to say nigga? And he said, who's gonna stop me?
I do think you boiled that. You pulled just the quote, but that is what he said.
That was exactly what. That was the essence of what he said in every bit of it. He said, "I grew up around these people, and because my thing was, is he doubled back to that point twice.
Yeah,
he said, one, who's gonna stop me?
Yeah,
I don't like how that's the first thing out your fucking fat ass mouth. To be honest with you,
bro.
What do you mean? You calling me nigga? He can't call. Don't call me nigga, bro." Again, if you have a gun, I'm not going to shoot you or anything. Don't shoot me. I'm not going to do that. But I don't appreciate the fact you saying that word. You should not say that shit at all. He opened up saying that, then goes into his little diatribe about where I come from, people I'm around, I came up with these people, I ate with these people. Then this nigga made the analogy, it's like I went to the jungle and came back with the lion's head.
Yeah, that was really bad.
That was insane.
That was really bad. That was really bad.
It's like, yo, why? Why do you have to say this?
It was upsetting to me, and shout out to our counterparts at Rap TV, you know what I mean? But it was upsetting to me because I do really think the nigga's dope, you feel me? And we had sat down a little bit earlier, like maybe a week or two ago at the Rap TV thing. He put his feet up on the table. We had a good conversation. I thought it was kind of funny. But it's like, I feel like when shit like this comes out, it makes me respect you a little less. Cause it's like, yeah, you could say things like, who gonna stop me? Oh, I grew up around these people. But at the end of the day, bro, we asked for one thing and one thing only, and you're not black. So why are people always trying to slide into our space? You know what I mean? Like now I look at you a little differently after that.
And it's just like you're normalizing something that's really problematic again. You know, all that smoke that we even have for Kanye with all the shit that he's saying. It's like, I'm not a Jewish person. I don't necessarily like live the life and I'm not immediately affected by what he's saying, but I can understand that him normalizing saying such a harmful thing and harmful rhetoric and pushing all that is going to set everybody back. And it's going to normalize things like this. You know what I mean? And like, I think we have to have the same smoke for him, obviously, because this is our community now and something like that. But it's so avoidable. Yeah. There's so many other words, you know? And it got funny when, of course, Anicia, who I think has been pretty vocal about this whole thing, because I think that not only on like saying niggas, she's had an issue with that, but like, I think this whole fake ghetto aesthetic that a lot of people portray, she's been really speaking out against that. And that's just something that she feels like is like, she feels like our culture is not something to be played with or just profited off of. And she's been vocal about that. So she came out and said that like, if you're not black, don't say it, da, da, da. And then Sauce Walker responded to that and said, basically, telling Mexican people not to say nigga is like telling black people not to eat tacos. And I'm like, dog, like no, this is just not true.
Yeah, this whole conversation is just so cooked.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having a conversation about race led by that Mexican OT, Anicia, and Sauce Walker, bro. To be honest, are these the people that we should be, no disrespect to anybody, but for real? You know what I mean? Is this where we want this conversation to come from?
No, it's just an exhausting conversation.
Yeah, it's just like we've had it before. You know what I mean?
I mean, niggas in Texas are a different breed, bro. Like it's a different world out there. And I think that's our own conversation to have in of itself. But like, again, you guys have a platform now. You are big artists. Your music is way beyond that regional place where you've grown up. You gotta really watch what you say.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, that interview was lame as shit. I can't lie.
Yeah, I hated to see it.
L Mexican OT.
good commentary.
Don't say it.
Okay, should we do anything with new music? There's been a couple of things. Your boy kind of has gotten some smoke.
Who?
Alchemist.
Yeah, I know. Alchemist has been getting cooked on Twitter.
Did you see this happening when you heard that song?
No. Well, because I don't know if I'm as good as some people about spotting AI artwork. Because we watched that whole visualizer, and at no point were any of us like, oh, this is so clearly AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what was the dead giveaway to people. I know there are people that know the space, know the space better than I do. So I don't know why it was like so obvious to the whole rap community. But yeah, he instantly just started getting flamed for using, an AI visualizer.
How do you feel about that, though?
I've had mixed thoughts. And I've been wrestling with them over the last couple of days because my knee-jerk reaction was like, yo, it's like, relax. You know what I mean? Like, bro can do whatever he wants for the visual. As long as it's within his artistic vision, he can use any tools he wants to create that. But then I do see a lot of the pushback being like, yo, Al, I would have done this for free. Like, I would have animated this video with my hands for free for the put on, like for the platform. And it would have had some real like soul to it and like real art. You know what I mean? And that makes me think like, yeah, Alchemist could have, well, also this is all falling on Alchemist, but he was like, I didn't have nothing to do with the cover art, So I don't know if it's him calling the shots, but whoever did, I think could have found somebody to do it for extremely inexpensive and gotten a better piece of art done. That's how I think about that. I don't know. What do you think?
It's an L. It's an L. And I think that, even with I just love keeping the same energy, even with the people we love.
Yeah.
We're obviously big fans of both Badu and Alchemist. And I think they both are people who I think have represented a lot of positive things in the community and a lot of positive things in artistry and pushing boundaries and things like that. So to see them affected by this AI artwork thing, it is, I feel like it's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I feel like they probably saw this and like us didn't even think, oh, this is AI. They probably just thought whatever company put it together for them, presented them with this. And they're like, okay, this is cool as a visualizer. Straight to the point, nothing major. They probably didn't ask too many questions even.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have all the onus fall on them for making this mistake, but I think it was something that I'm glad it happened because now I think people know how to move going forward. Even if I think there should be a disclaimer when there is AI work, when people are getting presented with this for the first time.
Yeah, I do want to provide a counterpoint because I think I do agree that I wish he wouldn't have done it and I wish he would have hired a real person. But I do think there's another side to this. And I heard a really interesting analogy this weekend when I was talking to somebody that works with an AI talent agency. So basically he helps represent a lot of AI visual artists who are visual artists that have worked in the tech art intersection for a long time and now are using AI to create their videos, their movies, all that. And when he started to tell me this, I almost like laughed in his face, but then I heard him out and I was like, this is low-key real. He's like, the use of AI right now is a lot like when photography was introduced to society. Because in a time pre-photography, you had these beautiful realism oil painters that if you wanted to get a snapshot of something, you hired one of these really incredibly talented artists to come and do it and paint it for you. Paint portraits, paint landscapes, whatever. But then photography comes along. We have this new technology where suddenly you just have to click a button. The artistry is gone. You just set this machine right here and you click a button. And now you no longer need painters. It's a lot of what's happening with AI right now, where there is this new tool that makes things way easier and totally shakes up the whole art landscape. And I don't know. Part of me is like, yes, there is an artistic way to use AI.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
You say that, but you don't even, you've never used AI. So you can't speak on that.
Because you're still taking jobs and opportunities away from people who have dedicated their whole lives to this art form.
Just like photography did that for painters.
I agree. And do you think that's a good thing? The fact that like there's no new painters really that are coming up.
Let me rephrase that. Do you think photography was bad?
No, I don't think photography was bad.
Right? Like where we got.
But I think that we all agree that AI is not going to be a positive thing.
I don't think we all agree that.
You don't think that the path that AI is headed down right now in the creative space is dangerous?
Oh, yes, it's super dangerous.
We just talked about
but I think there are a lot of creatives that also see this as there's always pushback when new tech is introduced into art.
Yes,
and a lot of creatives see that there's ways that this actually benefits everyone, just like photography did.
Yeah.
Like when we got that tool and understood the equipment, then we had people behind the lens that were looking at it from a super artistic point of view.
Yes.
So who's to say that's not what's going to happen with AI and the prompt generators? Who's to say it's not going to be?
Because think about what you just said, bro.
What? Prompt generators? It's probably the exact same as
I understand, Spencer. What you're saying is not crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like I get the photography example, but I don't think it's exact one-to-one comparison. I think that there are key differences because like you said, right? Like someone used to see a beautiful image and want to capture it so they'd have to paint it.
Yeah.
A photographer is still looking at that same image. It is still the same source material at the end of the day. And what you're creating now with the photograph is a more accurate depiction of that moment.
And so how's that different? How's that different?
That's why I think that's why the photography thing makes sense. You're literally taking the same thing and making it more accurate.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go an AI piece of art like this versus an actual human being making it, they're not even going to do the same things. That's why someone said, if I would have edited this, I would have put way more soul into it. Because I think there were moments when we watched that video and we were like, this feels a little random.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that was necessarily the best piece of art, but I'm saying I don't see a difference because you were saying the main difference is source material. The source material is the same. It's the creative generating an idea and saying, I want to have this style of art where there's these two characters and this is what they're going to do. It's the same. It's just the difference is having somebody draw by hand like the painter or having somebody think about the most creative way to generate a prompt to get the best piece of art out of it.
Think about when you're making art.
Yeah.
You set off with a plan, right? You start off with a plan.
Yeah.
But as you're executing that plan, as you're executing your original vision, a lot of things change, right?
Yeah.
Human error, human whatever. That there is an actual people element to things. And you might be like, oh, I had this original idea, but it turned out 10 times better when I made these bunch of different lefts along the way.
Yeah.
I think that you miss out on all of that with AI.
Well, I don't think
you take out the human element.
No, because like, I don't think you've ever experimented with AI art. Like,
I'm asking you, do you disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree because I think so many random things happen when you're using AI that you would have never expected. And you're like, wait, actually, that's fire. And then you rearrange your prompt and you say, actually, let's keep this. I would have never thought that, but this got, they call it like hallucinations when AI does things that like you didn't ask for.
But that's what I'm saying. You're not coming, but now you're not making those lefts. Now just like
when I'm painting, like I think what you're talking about, maybe it's a slip of the brush. That wasn't something that you thought of. That was a hallucination because you messed up and did something you didn't intend to do. But then you're like, wait, actually, yes, let's go this way. I think that's the left you're talking about.
I'm thinking when you make something and you're like, I didn't like how this looked, even though I thought I was going to. I want to change this now.
Well, I don't think anyone that's a good artist is going to type in a prompt to AI and get the result. And if it's bullshit, just be like, well, this is what they did. You're going to go in and adjust.
What's your take on this?
I'm not sure if I understand what Alchemist did was harmful. That's where I'm lost.
Yeah, I don't think he hurt anybody. I think that people are saying that if you normalize this, more people are going to do it on a larger scale. And that's when you're going to start to hurt people, because now people are just going to go to these AI artists instead of real artists to make their visualizers.
I think the reality of the situation is that AI is here. And it's here in ways that we can't even imagine, because we are just using the very basics. We're asking ChatGPT what the weather is.
Yes.
The shit that they're about to do with it is way bigger.
I agree.
So I think maybe from a moral perspective, like there's a different opinion, but I think it would probably be best for creatives to understand how to use these tools rather than always fighting when somebody with somebody like Alchemist that has like reach uses it. You know what I mean? Because people are saying, oh, I would have done this for free. I would have done this for free. Would you have done it as well? You know what I mean?
They could have.
But we don't know. You know what I mean? This is something he chose to do. This is something he chose to do because he saw...
I don't think he chose to do it.
This is something that his team or somebody around him chose to do because they saw the usefulness in it.
I think it was cheaper and quicker.
I think a lot of... You think it was cheaper and quicker?
Yeah. I think that's why someone on his team said, Alchemist and Badu aren't expecting a music video. All they want is a simple visualizer to put behind the song on YouTube.
So then if you don't know how to use these tools, you're being phased out then.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not saying
I'm
that's
on the
right.
same page with
I'm
all
just
of
saying
that.
that's what's happening.
Yes,
so
I agree
go
with
on
that.
Twitter and tweet at Alchemist, maybe figure out how to use this shit.
Go get in the field and figure some shit out. I agree with that 100%.
I think it's perfectly normal to also mourn, what we grew up with in our phase of like physical art kind of being phased out, just as painting got phased out, like we were speaking of, you know what I mean? Like it's no longer going to be something that people need out of necessity, and the economy around these specific art forms is going to drastically plummet. There will be a new replacement economy, and who's to say if that's going to be good or bad? But I do think we acknowledge that a lot of the art forms that we might love, which are things like animating by hand, drawing frame by frame, that stuff, it's just going to be for art. It's no longer going to be like super profitable.
So what about when it bleeds into the other forms of music?
Yeah.
And you're cool with that?
No.
But it's going to happen.
I think so too.
And you
have to be ready to evolve. It's gonna happen. So
you're with it. So you think producers should start using AI when they're making beats and things like that?
I mean, I think you have no choice. But to figure out how to do it in a really creative and tasteful way, and to still exercise your creative brain.
But you're telling young producers they should learn how to use AI while they're making music right now. That's beneficial for them.
I think so. To be honest, and I think the one thing that people get wrong about AI is that like there's always going to be a need for the human touch, right? Painting still exists. You could go and buy a painting for thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's a niche economy, but people still value the human touch. And I think like one thing that we have to do, because we know AI is here, is just stay ahead of the technology and not let it use us. Like, you can't be in the Matrix, bro. When you eat the steak, you got to know it's not real. Like, when we watched that shit, we knew that there was something up. We just didn't look too deep into it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, you can tell when shit is not manufactured by us.
And you know what you just made me think of that is one potential benefit is I think the people that are going to survive doing things by hand and not using AI are going to have to be way better. Like the painting analogy again, it's like somebody could paint really well and like make things look really realistic, but that painter is never going to have a career today. But today to be a painter, you have to be incredibly creative and different. You know what I'm saying? So I do think like, yes, there's less room in that economy, but I do think what we see when we're looking for hand painted things are things that a computer could never generate now.
I think it becomes not worth it to become great if you push it though. I agree that there will always be a beauty that can never be captured with AI when an actual person does something, be it animating something, painting something, fucking producing music, making music. All of that is always going to be better when a human does it. But if we continue to normalize and push this whole AI agenda and saying all these people need to learn how to implement it into their creative process, eventually it's going to get to a point when even if it's better, it's not worth my time if I'm trying to make this a career to be that handmade person. Mm-hmm. And to me, I look at someone like we just sat down with Baby Kobe. He is someone who I think is the antithesis of this whole AI thing because it's so human. It's so I didn't learn how to do this from anywhere.
Yeah.
And you see how quickly he was able to rise to the top. We need to be pushing people like that We need to be pushing that narrative to create without bounds, to try shit, not fall in line and try to stay ahead of this curve, because now we're turning music, this whole creative thing, into something like tech.
Yeah.
You're talking to these young kids and we're making them come up like fucking techies and like computer science majors, and that's not what they are. There's an element to it, but that's not the mindset that you need to have that's going to foster the next generation to be better than us. That's how we're going to continue to get worse and worse music, because we see it with how streaming and all of this stuff has made us feel like music has deteriorated, because now we're oversaturated. Now that everyone can make music, now that everyone can hop on BandLab, now that every random fucking teenager could put out a song on SoundCloud, we get a million bullshit songs every day and we're sifting through it just to find the one person who's good. That's because we all fell in line and just were like, okay, this is the way that it should be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think how we should move forward is, if what you're saying is true, and I believe it to be, then the fully human-made art will feel different and be better than what people are doing with AI. So I don't think we should write off art because somebody used AI to do it. I think we should write off art because it feels soulless. Like, for example, like, I don't think the whole complaint should be, oh my God, Al used AI to do this visualizer. Like, that's so fucking stupid. It should be like, yo, this visualizer didn't really hit. This visualizer wasn't really fire. You know what I mean? And that should be the narrative. I don't think we should write things off because of how they were created, but rather the product that they turned into. Because what we're scared of...
But it turned into that because it was created that way.
I know, but like when you say like... Because then it's weird, because like somebody could make something really beautiful and incredible with AI, but because you used AI, it's wrong. And
yeah, I don't give a... like.
I don't think the whole point of this argument is because we think AI is like unethical. To me personally, I think the point is we're worried about the art form getting diluted and the artist getting diluted. So as long as we're big upping and supporting art that is incredible and impactful to us, we shouldn't have to worry about how it was created.
I mean, I guess my whole thing is also just, I think that AI is only going to get smarter. And I think the more time you spend editing it and teaching it and being like, no, I want this, and this is what's creative and this is human, we're not going to tell the difference. We're going to make it. So like, that's just the norm. So
have you been seeing like the deep fakes on Twitter?
Yeah.
They're like TikTok influencers.
Yeah, people are like eating like the Muckbangs or whatever, right? Yeah, bro.
That shit was crazy.
You know what I mean? Like now they talk like us. Now they're starting to get mannerisms down and things like that.
See the one that was eating chicken?
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't know. I think this shit is really, really lame, bro. We just saw the Timberland shit, and I'm like, we as people who work in the industry, like have this platform, I feel like we can push against it a little
Last
bit.
thoughts, because I know I'm doing a lot of devil's advocate, but like that example, do you think it's good for any of us to ever be watching mukbangs on TikTok, whether it's an AI or a human?
I think that it's fine if it's a human, bro.
No,
because
I think as a society we were getting dumb and stupid before AI.
But
I think what happened with social media and tech was bad as a civilization. So if AI makes the tech and social media space and content world so saturated that people are forced to go outside to see what's real and to find community within real life experiences, then we win.
But they're not going to do that, and some people don't have that ability.
Who doesn't have that ability?
I think that there's some people who maybe have severe social anxiety and are like, yo, I really don't feel comfortable going outside right now or seeing people, but I don't want to feel alone right now. And they watched a mukbang when they were eating their food to just have someone to feel like they were with, you know? I don't
think that's a good argument, because that's to say you could make the same argument for AI. Some people have extreme social anxiety, don't want to text somebody, can't feel connection, so they talk to a chatbot and they fall in love with a chatbot. Yeah. How did people used to deal with social anxiety 100 years ago?
They'd kill themselves.
I don't think that's true. I think the suicide rate has gone up incredibly over the last 50 years.
But I think that was also what people were doing back then too. I think niggas were depressed and upset back then too.
But I'm saying more people today kill themselves.
We see how damaged and fucked up our parents' generation is, and how they are clearly dealing with trauma and situations that were just completely ignored and pushed to the side when they were coming up. I think that now we may have more access to things that are going to disassociate us from society, but we also have more cures for these things that have plagued people for so long. So they did
like mukbangs.
No, I think that helps people. I genuinely think that some people benefit from that. I don't think I do. Yeah. I think that I would never watch that, but that's not for me. You know, there's a reason why people watch it, and I'm not going to judge them for being like into that.
Maybe this is really old fashioned and also like a distasteful opinion, but I think there's some level of, no matter how hard it is for you, shit, go out and eat with somebody.
But
go make a friend and eat with them. Somebody that's equally as anxious, equally as nervous.
But like, you're speaking from someone who hasn't felt those feelings.
Right. It's definitely privileged and definitely ignorant. But
so why just accept that mindset then if you know it's problematic?
Because I don't think it's beneficial for us as a society for people to be able to cop out like that, and when they feel uncomfortable to be able to watch a mukbang and be alone.
But what
and
if
then our birth rate declines, and now we're not.
But what if that's a really smart
society?
Person? And again, we'll move on. But what if that's a really smart person?
Yeah.
Who goes in and works for fucking NASA or whatever, or is like a really, really good person that we need in society to do what they do, but they have severe social anxiety. I want that person to feel as good as possible so they can go do whatever they're supposed to do to contribute to society. Why would you want that person to be uncomfortable, sad, and maybe doing something they have no business doing or not even here anymore?
What would they have no business doing?
Like I'm saying, like say they're uncomfortable and like aren't bigged up in society or aren't able to have something that makes them feel comfortable to where they can excel. And they close themselves off and become just a regular fucking like nobody in society, you know?
Versus if they're watching mukbangs and now they're...
Or I'm saying any of the other things like mukbangs, you know? It's the vlogs, you know? All of that shit even. Like if you watch someone else live their life online, I think you're kind of crazy.
Yeah, yes. I don't think that's healthy.
But some people, it's fucking nice for them.
I don't think it's healthy for anyone to watch, to live vicariously through streamers, content creators, vloggers, any of that.
Okay. And now, perfect example of this. Kai Cenat.
Yeah.
Just introduced his homeboys to fucking LeBron James and niggas was crying.
That's fire.
Why? That nigga has these niggas have whole fathers, like people in their life that they can look up to. Why the fuck are they so happy to meet LeBron James? By your logic. Wait, I'm saying,
wait, Miles. I'm talking about the people watching the streams, not the people making the streams. I'm talking about the problem is the people sitting in their basement vicariously living through content creators.
What about these streamers who were so in love with LeBron that they were literally like freaking out, crying, like, oh my God, like this nigga called himself Tylil James. That is not his last name, bro. He says, I'm going 0 dark 30 off the internet until I could get LeBron to adopt me after meeting him, bro.
Yeah, I guess I don't see the parallel.
Is that not crazy? He doesn't even know him.
But are you making a parallel to what we were talking about before?
Yes, I'm saying, is that healthy? Is that mindset how he's moving healthy? Just as all those other people are unhealthy.
Are you saying that he's also part of the internet?
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the kids watching him.
No. I'm talking about him. Is he part of the crazy internet culture and promoting this craziness?
No, because I don't think I think that's different.
Why?
Because I'm somebody that would also be so excited about seeing LeBron James. And that's not because I sit at home 4 hours a day and watch LeBron James vlog. It's because I sometimes go and watch basketball with my friends. And like we talk about LeBron James. We debate about LeBron James. We like
you like sports.
Yeah.
So can other people not like these streamers like how you like sports and watch sports like how you, bro, when you sit back.
If you are finding real life community through streamers, if you're linking up with your friends and watching streamers together and you're going to IRL streamer events.
Yeah, like the DreamCon and shit like that.
Dope.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not who I was talking about.
Okay, so
that's
allowed,
dope.
Though.
I just don't want people to like no longer need friends. We're moving into that world where you don't need friends.
Nah, because if
people need human connection.
But if you watch the mukbangs and you're like, damn, I'm lonely, you can look at the other niggas in the comments of the mukbang or the 12 million views. And like, oh, other people are like me. And then maybe you meet a friend off the mukbang video.
That doesn't.
Why? That's the same as meeting a friend off the LeBron James shit.
You're saying if you
meet a friend off
meet a friend off the mukbang videos,
yeah,
sure.
Y'all niggas in the comments, y'all all fans of the shit. It don't matter, whatever, bro. So y'all would cry though if you met LeBron?
No, I wouldn't cry, but I will say I think sport has existed as long as we have. So I'm not mad at people crying for meeting LeBron James because realistically, this is something we've been doing for centuries, right? Is that not true?
You shouldn't cry when you meet no celebrity ever. I don't think it's ever that deep.
Bro, he's people's hero.
LeBron James is my favorite athlete ever. I'm not crying when I meet that nigga, bro.
Would you cry if you met Obama?
No. I would be less excited to meet Obama than LeBron James. For sure, bro. But
would you rather meet Obama or LeBron?
Would I rather meet Obama or LeBron?
That's not even close, bro. LeBron is way cooler than Obama.
I'd rather meet Obama.
Lying
to be honest.
nigga.
No, I would.
What you gonna talk about with Obama, bro? Obama's not a real nigga, bro.
I'd rather meet the president of the United States.
This nigga's not the president.
He was
former president.
Bro. I think
yo, that's crazy. Don't do that to me, brother.
Brother,
don't do that to me.
My brother, don't do that.
My brother.
What are we talking about? Shout out Obama.
I think I would rather meet Obama than.
I'd rather meet Obama.
It's
Y'all
close.
niggas,
It's close.
yeah, niggas is capping.
Bro,
for the
this guy
cameras,
knows
bro.
everything about our country, bro.
What do you're not gonna ask him about our country?
I am.
What are you gonna ask Obama? You meet him?
What do I want to know?
I would say, oh, hey, Obama, would you have attacked Iran?
You ain't asking that.
I would have said, what would you have done in this situation? How would you have facilitated peace in the Middle East?
I was gonna ask about aliens, but I think we already know those exist.
Niggas would rather have, okay, you could have a 15-minute conversation with LeBron or Obama.
Dinner with LeBron?
Nah. I would rather, like, maybe if we actually get to the nitty gritty, I'm talking to Obama because I would ask him, like, the obviously government questions, all that shit.
That's just funny.
But if I'm just meeting somebody, like, dap up, like, yo, this is crazy, I'll probably meet LeBron.
My expectation,
you know what I'm saying?
My expectation is that I'm gonna ask them questions.
Here. I would rather have a minute interaction with LeBron rather than Obama, but I would rather have a 30-minute conversation with Obama than LeBron.
Yeah. But the shit that was actually cool about it was if you are chronically online, I guess not even chronically online because I don't know. I was in like the 2K basketball shit as a kid, like watching a YouTube video. So like that nigga Cash Nasty is actually like I fuck with him, bro.
Yeah.
So seeing him meet LeBron was cool. But then with Ty Lil, I thought that was interesting because I think that does go to the point of why the whole like mukbang versus this type of thing is different.
Yeah.
Because he's like, all jokes aside, because I think he does it up for the cameras and is playing a character. He's like, I come from nothing. I needed inspiration. I was in a really fucked up place in my life. And whenever shit was really, really bad for me, I would watch like LeBron highlights. I would see LeBron win championships and be like, oh, like that's a nigga who came from nothing and has rose to be one of the biggest stars in the world. Fuck just athletics. Like that's extremely inspirational to me and something that kept me going on my journey.
Yeah.
And that was really, really dope. And I think that a lot of just famous people can see that and be like, damn, like this is how I could be a benefit to society. If I actually am feeding into these people and creating these moments for people, that's like why I should be a good role model or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think everything that happened at the Fanatics Fest was pretty dope.
Yeah.
But did you see Kai moderating the panel?
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about his intro when he introduced LeBron?
The intro was crazy. I think that they have him doing a lot, but like I think that he's also like he's like the new age Kevin Hart. Like he's short, tiny, funny guy. So like him doing the splits and jumping up and down, that was crazy. That was crazy. But that is literally what this nigga did in the video. Like that's what he's supposed to do.
I think that while Kai is extremely talented as an entertainer, I do enjoy this era of new streamers coming up because I do feel like he can't do everything. I don't think he should be doing everything, to be honest. They got this nigga doing anything at this point.
I think he is now moving into the next phase of this. Mm-hmm. And I think that all of the moves that he's making seem like he's positioning himself as like almost, I've achieved the highest rank in this streaming stuff. Now, how can I break into mainstream superstardom? So I'm going to try to do more hostings, more moderator situations, speak more long form with these people in more controlled environments. I'm not just going to bring people on my stream to sit in my bedroom and do whatever. You know?
It's a really cool evolution.
And I think that with that, there's going to be some bumps in the road. He's going to have to figure out what is my voice in this? How do I speak in this? How do I take my stream personality and make it more digestible for people and make it more adult audiences and things like that. So I think he's doing a good job with that, honestly. And I like that big platforms are also giving him the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it might also be difficult too, and I might be overly critical because we literally see everything because everything is live.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking about someone like Druski, and I feel like his adjustment to that superstardom has been like way more seamless. Like I feel like everything from like just going from like doing the skits to like, you know, doing the prize picks shit and the fanatic shit and all that. Like I feel like he's always been in the sports world in a way that's a little bit more tasteful. But I guess, again, we don't see every single move that Druski makes.
And I think Druski also comes from that background, so it's more natural to him because he's a former football player.
Yeah.
But I think that there are kind of parallels because I just saw Druski announce his movie that's put out by his production company and everything. Like he's really...
Wait, is that the Theo Von Shane Gillis funeral movie?
Yeah, Meet the Diggers or whatever, right?
I was confused.
Meet the Diggers.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
I was confused if is that confirmed a real movie?
Yeah.
I low-key thought it was just a skit trailer.
Nah,
it's a movie.
Yeah, I saw it when I went to go see the movies. What I just
You saw it in theaters?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. It was a trailer and everything.
Oh my God, I seen the trailer. I would cry if I saw it in the movie theaters. Yo, that's gonna be really funny.
I mean, have you guys seen the movie Death at a Funeral?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's literally that, but like, a little bit different. But I feel like that
New
was
age.
the premise of it,
Yeah.
But I fuck with that. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's gonna be actually, I feel like this could be a big moment for streamers. If this movie is if this movie is more than just like, oh, the streamers made a movie. If this movie is like, wow, look at these podcast comedians and internet skit people, and it was actually like one of the better movies of the year, I think that raises like the ceiling and the cachet of everyone in this specific world. I
don't think they look at. I was interested when you said streamers because I think that it's media personality.
Yeah, it's not really any streamers.
I think that it is. They still are in a different light. Like Druski's, Theo Von's, all of them, I feel like have kind of almost broken through to a higher level than streamers have.
I would say that Druski, Shane Gillis, Theo Von are more similar to Kai Cenat than they are to a classic like a Timothy Chalamet or someone funny, not Timothy, but like somebody that does acting in the traditional sense. Well, because they got shit popping online, they got shit popping on TikTok, on IG Reels, whether it was streaming clips or podcast clips, they are like products of the internet.
Yeah, and they are internet people.
And they're self-made. They didn't need an agent to get them these bookings. They didn't need to like cross the traditional barriers to entry that a normal actor would. So I do think it's big for DIY comedians, DIY like social media personalities if this movie is like dope.
Is this bigger than when Jake Paul became a boxer?
Yeah, because I don't think he ever was a real boxer. Was he? I don't actually know a lot about boxing. Did he ever beat somebody legit?
No. I'm trying to think of what
who beat Floyd
is.
Was the other one?
No, Floyd is undefeated.
What happened in that fight?
Floyd has never lost a fight. He beat Logan Paul. It was Logan Paul. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm getting them confused.
You're talking about the Tyson fight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tyson.
But he was like 50.
Yeah. Jake Paul beat an old man.
I just have no facts today. no real facts.
But fuck. Now we're talking about the streamer shit. What I think is interesting too is I see a lot of music managers starting to manage streamers.
I do too.
And that to me is like, what is going on here?
I mean, it makes way more money earlier.
It makes way more money earlier. And I love that these niggas are just like, fuck it. Let me go get a bag and still make it fly though. I think, because I do think a lot of these niggas are like probably like cool people and easier to manage than maybe the traditional artist. And building up a streaming career, I think might be easier than building an artist career at this point. It's hard to break an artist, bro. It's really, really hard to break an artist.
And it's
I think
hard
there's a lot of
break bro, we've been trying for a while.
But I'm saying, like, say you find a kid that already has like the equivalent of a budding artist career, but as a budding streaming career, so has still has like more motion than we have, you know what I mean? Fuck with us, obviously, so we can get there.
We just reached 200 followers.
You know what I'm saying? Like, say you have someone that's like 1,000 subs on Twitch, you can figure out a way to kind of make them pop off, I think, easier than it might be getting an artist with fucking 10,000 monthly listeners and great music to pop off.
Interesting. All right.
To me.
I think the space is exciting right now and people are checking for it. So I think that's why it might be easier.
Okay, getting into new music because we kind of jumped off that with the Erykah Badu and Alchemist shit. That was a great song. We talked about the AI, but I really enjoyed that. Cardi B and Offset did their little, not diss records, but they both dropped this past weekend. Cardi B with Outside and Offset and Jid dropped Bodies.
Yeah.
We'll start with Positivity because I think I like Bodies a lot more.
Yeah.
Great sample. It felt like a layup for both of them. Probably one of the better Jid verses I've heard in a minute. It's going to go. I think it's going to work on TikTok and all of that stuff. I think that it was a really, really good song from Offset.
Yeah, dope song. And it really made me also like look back at what Offset has dropped in the last 5 years and been like, wow, he's been dope. You know what I mean? Like,
well, no.
What do you mean?
Do you like
this man is switching up?
Yeah, I was about to say.
What?
I think Offset, we described Offset accurately in that Offset is never going to deliver you like a technically bad rap verse.
But what is the like egregious thing on Offset's legacy in like the last 5 years?
I think that there's been no forward movement. I think Offset has been in the same place for 5 years.
I mean, that's probably not true.
What's changed in the last 5 years?
I think like the song with like the Unconfused shit that they did was super fire.
Unconfused was Quavo and Takeoff.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Offset, my bad.
But that's no shade to Offset, because again, I think Offset has remained consistent and active and hasn't taken any steps back. And I think why I enjoyed this again, and we said this in the reaction, like he still sounds relevant with this type of release. So I think Offset does have room to take a next step in his artist career. I think he's just been trying to find the sound.
To Spencer's point, I don't think Offset has misses. I just think he has music that is boring.
This is exactly what I'm saying. I think Offset is fine. I think that Offset hasn't given me anything exciting because I don't know what Offset does to push the boundaries musically, because I think we kind of know what he does. He's a great trap rapper and he raps over trap beats.
But this was exciting, right?
This was
really exciting to me.
This was exciting as a single, given everything that's happening in the news. I think that Jid made it exciting. Like I like the song. Yeah. I don't want that to be confused. But for him, I want a really good body of work.
Yeah, I think maybe it comes down to production, because like you said, he's always going to deliver like strong rap verses, but nothing like insanely different.
Lil Baby's dealing with it.
Yeah, but I do think it comes down to like having a really good ear for beats and a really well curated body of work. And I think that's what makes this song Body so special, is the way that this sample is flipped. I think Jid went absolutely crazy, but I do think the superstar was the producer. I didn't even check who made the beat, but I think that honestly stole the show.
Lil Baby is in this camp. Offset's in this camp. What do these kind of trap rappers have to do to push the sound forward for them?
I just told you.
But like just
beats, incredible, different sounding production.
But on their end, like, is there anything they can do? Like, is there anything you want to hear from them? Is there a subject matter they could talk about? Because now these niggas are like, Offset's what? I think like 33, 34. Like, he's not the same YRN, you know what I mean? That we saw him come in I'm serious, bro.
That was
like,
funny.
Offset is at a different point in his career. I feel like he needs to change up the rap and shit. Like, Lil Baby is just going to keep staying in the same place. Like, these niggas are... It just feels like it's bored. This whole space is boring, because I'm like, the Money on Money song with Young Thug and Future. We really like that song. I feel like I didn't hear that song do anything. And that's the first solo Young Thug. That's the first like Young Thug single we got since he's been out. And I feel like that should have made more noise.
We like it, but like, dude didn't even really. I don't know. I think you need growth. I think just being with you guys, I've realized like lyrics are important. Like what you're saying is important.
Do you need growth or do you need a narrative?
I mean, I think you need both. Like, okay. I think Money on Money, like, yeah, it was a good song, like, but we've heard a lot of songs like it. And I feel like, yeah, there was a little bit of narrative. He was talking about rats, but like, I think that when I go online, at least, and maybe online is not the best metric when it comes to this, but when I go online, the criticism of Young Thug right now is that the music is sounding a little samey, and that we don't really care that what you think of Gunna, to be honest. And I think with Money on Money, he did both. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think what I want to hear from Young Thug is an album talking about what he's been through, maybe even talk to from the perspective of somebody who feels like he's been abandoned by his contemporaries and his peers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, speak to shit like that. You know what I mean? I think vulnerability and narrative are probably what's going to help these artists. Yes. Offset's going through a whole thing with Cardi B, and like Loki didn't address it in the song at all.
Yes. You know what I think that would make the project dope. I think that might be a dope angle to take now that you kind of stepped on, or she stepped on your release, whatever, but it feels like you kind of got your get back with this. Now maybe get in your vulnerable bag next after that. But this was a good jumping off point. I think the producer killed this. I think Jid did great. This was a great release. Yeah. On the Cardi side of things, she also released her song Outside, where it seems like she was like kind of answering a couple of the questions people have been asking her over these last couple of weeks.
That one felt a little more like a diss record.
It felt a little more responsive. Then you see Stefan Diggs posted a picture of her with her nails saying Diggs, and he's like, you should post more, by the way, or his little shit. The Cardi song wasn't great to me. And if you watched our reaction, obviously we've gotten a little bit of pushback on that. And I don't want it to get misconstrued like we think Cardi is not who she is. She's obviously one of the best female rappers out right now. She has hits. We know what Cardi's capable of. I just feel like on the last couple of records, I haven't gotten the same energy from her, the same authenticity. All of the things that made her who she is, I'm missing right now.
Yeah, I think I do want to speak to that, because I think I did learn something about myself in these last couple of days listening to this song. I don't think I'm a Cardi B fan, and I think that's totally okay. Because to be honest, like, yes, there's verses I like from Cardi B, but I don't listen to Invasion of Privacy. I don't have slaps that I'm playing off that. I don't like what she's talking about because I re-listened to this song and I'm like, yo, this isn't that much different than what she always talks about and what she talked about on her critically acclaimed Invasion of Privacy, one of the highest selling rap albums of all time that we always big up. I think maybe
if it's not that different from an album that came out in 2018, in 2025, is that not problematic?
No, I feel you. But like, I don't think that I actually have anything to add to this discourse because I don't think I've ever been a Cardi B fan. I don't think I've ever put the music on. So I was reading those comments and I'm like, I do have my opinion about this song and I don't like this song because of what she's talking about and it doesn't feel really inspired. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think I have anything to add to this space because I've never liked the music.
But then you could go into like, you're a fan of rap.
Yeah.
And even if you're not listening to Cardi, you understand why she is who she is and why the music previously worked, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't think I'm historically a fan of chart-topping rap.
But you understand why it used to work.
Yeah, and I think this is going to work too. Actually, when I listen to this.
That's where maybe we disconnect. I don't think this is going to work.
I don't think so either.
And I think that she's dropped now 4 singles that haven't worked. So now I think this is a bigger discussion about artistry blowing up too fast, your first album being your biggest album.
Yeah.
There's a whole different thing here because Cardi had a situation that's literally only comparable to Lauryn Hill. And that feels a little crazy, but it's like these are both 2 artists that before they dropped their debut projects were known. Obviously, Cardi B was more reality TV personality thing, but Cardi B had a following. And I think that's why she was also able to explode on the scene how she did. Lauryn Hill obviously had the Fugees, was known as being a great artist, whatever, right? When they both dropped their projects, people had expectations, but I think that they exceeded expectations to like the highest degree, to where the albums almost became bigger than the artists.
Yeah.
And when you're faced with that off your debut project, the pressure to then double back with that is, I don't even know how to imagine that. You have your entire life to put together this body of work. And now it's like, how the fuck do I follow this up?
Yeah.
What do I say? What do the people want to hear from me? Who am I trying to satisfy? What is my core fan base? Because I don't think you even have that at a certain point. I don't think you know who it is because everyone liked their music. Everybody loved Cardi B's album. Everyone was listening to it. So it's hard to pinpoint what is a Cardi B fan and how does that differentiate from a Meg Thee Stallion fan, a Glorilla fan, Because again, all of those people love Cardi shit, you know? I don't feel like she necessarily knows who her core is. And I feel like I hear that in the music and how she's approaching it too. It feels like she's just trying to make something to satisfy everybody.
I agree with that point. I agree with that point because I agree with both you and Spencer. I think the music is sounding like some shit that would have came out in 2018.
Yes.
And that's where I had an issue with it. I'm actually here to double down. I'm here to double down on the take, bro. Cause like
I'm actually here to hate more.
I'm not even here to hate, bro. Like I said, I want better because it's just like I think Cardi B is a dope artist. Obviously, she had an incredible moment with Invasion of Privacy that is hard to live up to. But Cardi B is also showing me she's super talented in the way that she's able to hop on a verse with a lot of these new girls and body it, have the better verse, to be honest. Like she's had smash hits out the gate with all the artists we mentioned. So I don't understand where the disconnect is there because it's like, does it take being on a track with one of your peers to like get you to like level up? You know what I mean? Are you just not, I mean, we know that she was working with other people. Maybe she doesn't not working with the same people anymore. Like, I don't understand where the disconnect is when it comes to her own music because we've listened to 4 Cardi B songs and we haven't liked any of them.
Bro, because she's on that street shit when she's a feature and when she's on her own shit, it's on some poppy shit. It's on some pop rap shit. To me, simply, I think Cardi B is really from that life. I think Cardi B exemplifies that kind of like hood, but still like classy now vibe. You know, like she needs to talk shit. Cardi B doesn't need to be making the repeatable ABCD type bar. She needs to really get in her bag and talk a lot of shit and be on production that's gonna kind of do that. When she featured on a K-Flock song, she bodied that. That's a street record. The fucking Put It On The Floor Again record, that's a hard ass beat. But then she gets on this shit and now she's flipping samples that are like very like just very mainstream. It sounds radio shit. And I'm like, I think she can do that, but I don't think that that's what's worked for her in recent years. And now she needs to adjust to what's been working, not what used to work. So that's where I'm at with that. Shout out Cardi, shout out Offset. Hopefully they stop beefing in public and just can make music. Stephon Diggs, you better play good this year or you gonna look crazy for all of this.
I hope Bodies gets a lot of NFL sync. I saw somebody on Twitter talking about that. I was like, I could totally hear it.
That'd be crazy. I mean, I don't think that relationship is going to last too long, but who knows? Okay, last before we get out of here, guys, why don't we have a song of the summer?
I don't know. Central C and Sexy dropped that song.
That's not the song of the summer.
You don't think it's the song of the summer?
It's not the song of the summer.
Damn.
I've been listening to a lot of good R&B lately. I feel like the new R&B artists are kind of popping out with songs that I don't know, could be songs of the summer.
I
like what?
Love it.
I would say London Summers.
By Odile?
Not Fair.
Who's that by?
Leon Thomas.
Okay.
I even like Folded by Kehlani. I don't think it's song of the summer, but that song is
Shout
really
out Chris,
great.
Bro.
It's really great.
I love that record, but I'm like, I don't think any of it feels like song of the summer.
Not Fair is the closest I think you got there.
Not Fair is crazy.
But
London Summers is a great.
London Summers is great, but that's not going to be a song of the summer.
I think London Summers, if any of it is going to be a song of the summer, I could only see that one working because I think he's working that record. I think he's rolling out an album, and I love how he's throwing a bunch of parties everywhere. He's doing this Ovember thing. He just did one in London, had another one in Paris. Like, he's putting it in DJ sets. Like, I feel like it's getting played to where it might catch. But again, none of these feel like the one. Mm-hmm. They don't. Like, the quintessential song of the summer moment to me the last couple of years was probably Essence, WizKid, Tim's. Like, I felt that song be the song of the summer, you know? Mm-hmm. I want that from a major artist, and I don't know who's going to deliver it. I'm not mad if someone told me Nokia was the song of the summer.
Terrible.
I think it's just too.
I don't think it is.
It doesn't have legs anymore. We've already played it out. So, and now we're just getting
it's going to come on every time you go out.
If Nokia dropped last month, I'm totally there with you.
But Nokia still comes on. And I think it still gets people lit every time you go out.
It kind of sounds like we need like an Afrobeats artist to make Song of the Summer.
I think we do.
The first time I really remember being outside for a Song of the Summer, quote unquote, was, I mean, not Afrobeats artist, but I guess there was one. Drake and WizKid, One Dance. I feel like that song and what else was on there?
You mean that whole album, Controller?
Yeah, and Controller.
Yeah. That Views album was crazy. That was definitely the.
That's why people talk about 2016 like it's this magical ass year.
Drake always does it because one of my first Song of the Summer memories is 2018 with Nice for What.
Ooh, and you know this might be the problem.
What I was thinking,
we've removed the Hitmaker.
Back to Back was the first one that I remembered. That because that was like what 2015
ish.
Yeah, Drake.
Damn,
we need you. Maybe it's that Morgan Wallen song.
It won't be.
You know, hey, what about Dark Thoughts by Lil Tecca?
No, I love it though. I think that's a good shout. Like, I think that has a chance. Yeah, but I don't think that's the one. I like where you're going with it's going to be R&B. Mm-hmm. I think it will be an R&B song. I think that it's going to be the right type of collab. I think it's going to take two artists.
No, I'm confused. If like, I feel like you saying like, why do you think it's going to be R&B? If all we've said recently is that all these other genres are having their moment, well, it's Afrobeat, country, or dance.
Because that's the music I feel strongest about.
Okay, so you just like it.
I think that has the ability to do it because, like you said too, Not Fair with Leon Thomas is coming off the Mutt times. I think Mutt was actually a big record. I think Snooze was a big record. I think Luther's a big record. I think R&B is in a good place right now. So I think there is the opportunity, if it's done right, for it to go number one. So are you on it's going to be rap then?
No. Based on trends, I feel like it's got to be, I mean, it could be country, but that's not my world.
It's not
based on trends, I think it needs to be Afrobeat or dance. And that's why I'm like, what about what Amare just did?
Oh, that song is really good.
That song's really good.
That's not the song of the summer.
I don't think it's the song of the summer, but I'm like, I think it needs to be something adjacent to that to hit right now.
It has to be a big artist too, though.
I mean, okay, so I'm waiting on Burna Boy. Isn't he rolling something out right now?
And that's why I've been pump faking on saying Afrobeat, because I feel like people haven't been talking about Afrobeat that much. I feel like Afrobeat is on a bit of a decline here in the US. I'm not to say that it's going to stay there, but I feel like we need a record to break through again because it feels like it's been about a year now since there's been something crazy impactful out here. I think it might be Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler could do it.
I'm trying to think of who could make like a really dope like dance crossover record right now and grab that. So Tame Impala was previewing music at a DJ set and he's doing dance stuff. I feel like he, maybe not for the, I feel like he's had some mainstream debatable song of the summers. You know what I mean?
I think people like.
I think if he came out, because I think there's rumblings based on these DJ sets that he's playing that he might drop soon. So I think if he came out with like a high energy dance track, he's somebody that could do it.
We'll see. I don't know. We'll report back next week. I feel like we'll have a better feel. Is anything dropping?
Not that I know
Could
of.
Clipse have the song of the summer?
Probably not.
Clipse, Bryson Tiller, Mariah Carey.
Now, what if Clipse got Pharrell to do a hook? Then they could have the song of the summer.
Yo, they might do that.
Then they could maybe have the song of the summer.
They might try it.
We need grinding. It would have to be like a grinding.
Not because
type
we
vibe.
need that from we don't, bro. And this is what no disrespect. You know what I'm saying? I love Clipse. I love Push. I love Malice. But it's just like, we don't need just pure bars from them, bro.
If it's going to be that, it needs to be a winter album. If you were going to go just straight like that type of vibe, I think that's better for when it's cold out. Because it's warm out, you need a grinding type record.
Yeah, bro, at least try.
Yeah.
At least try.
Well, I think they can do that because that's literally what blew them up. I do think that there is a little bit of that in them still. If you look at the intros of Hell I Have No Fury, like they could do a We Got It for Cheap type vibe, like Miami Coke shit if you're going to be on that, you know?
Fucking Mr. Me Too is a trunk rattler, bro. Like they could have like a hit.
But that's, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. Appreciate y'all for watching, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Let us know what the song of the summer is in the comments.
Fendi, fuck with us on Patreon. Make sure to tap in with the link down below in the description. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.